Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview, and as always, I'm your host Jay Slim. And joining me today is a 6'2" forward that is staying in Miami, Florida, staying in South Beach, but is trading in the gold and blue of FIU for the green and orange of the U, going to Miami, joining the Hurricanes. I'm talking about Mya Kone. How's it going, Maya?
Going good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, excited to have you on. You've had a great career, a lot of success, a lot of accolades to your name already, and you're looking to continue that going into the ACC with Miami next season. And I want fans, viewers that are watching this to know some of that accolades to your name in a quick segment that I like to call Rewind and Recap. Just going to rewind the clock all the way back to 2023 when you were still in the Sun Belt playing for James Madison, and you guys won the Sun Belt Championship in 2023. Got to go to March Madness. And following year, you transferred over to FIU and you were named first team All Conference USA in your first year with the Panthers. Not only that, but also sixth player of the year in that conference as well, doing a lot of your damage coming off the bench, making a significant impact. And although this year was cut short for you, played in only one game. That one game set the single game scoring record for FIU with 132 points for your team against Florida Nationals. So absolutely incredible what you guys did. You know, just in that one game for you, you scored 21 points, 14 rebounds in that game, and your career overall, you have a bunch of accolades, and it's still going. You still have another year or two left of eligibility. After coming off that year where you were sixth player of the year, first team all conference, what was that mentality heading into this past season? Obviously, unfortunately, it was cut short, but what was your mentality and the expectations that your coaches and teammates had of you going into this year?
Honestly, just being a leader and building off of that. So we had a lot of newcomers coming in, and I knew that the coaches needed me to come in and lead. A lot of the players we had lead as far as seniors. So just honestly leading on and off the court, and just continue to build of what I did last year, not getting comfortable, and just expanding my game, continue to expand my game.
Yeah, and obviously those expectations definitely were high. A lot of people were looking you as a favorite for possibly even some not Sunbelt Conference USA Player of the Year going into the 24-25 season. But obviously, one game, season-ending injury, life happens. You're not expecting that. But how would you say you turned those expectations that were looked from you on the court to being more off the court as a leader and still finding ways to help your team?
Um, just seeing things that they wouldn't see on the sidelines, coaching from the sidelines, helping my teammates, just holding each other accountable, even though I'm not on the floor. That was really big from the sideline, just trying to stay engaged and be a leader, honestly.
Yeah, and that one game, like I mentioned before, 132 points against Florida National ended up being 132 to 25 win over an NAI opponent in that season opener, where, like I mentioned before, 21 points from you, 14 rebounds, had three assists as well in that game. What was it about that game where you guys were able to just find your stride early on in the season, get things going early offensively, and obviously shatter a record for FIU?
Yeah, that game is obviously big because we had a lot of newcomers coming in. So everybody's just like, what is FIU this year? So for us to be able to come in and just dominate the way that we did, and honestly, everybody was in the scoring digits, everybody played. So just, being able to showcase that the first game was a good thing for us because we were able to kind of just set the pace for the season, and let people know what we're about.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there were about eight or nine players for you guys that were in double figures in that game. Obviously, you having, over 20 points in that contest, and you had quite a few, highlight plays in that game. Your one game on the court this season, you made the most of it for sure. Because I usually have to go through hundreds of plays for players to find top three for this segment that I'm about to get into that I like to call make that play, where I get to show off your highlights. But you had three that were in that one game alone where I'm like, okay, these would be good enough for anyone else. So I want to talk about them obviously and show your highlights in this interview. But you were the one on the court. I do want to ask you, was there one play specifically that stood out to you from that game where you said, all right, I'm in my bag. I've improved a lot since last year. I'm going to make some noise.
Is there any specific game where I felt like that?
Specific play from that Florida National game? And because of your circumstance, if you do want to go back to last year, we can also go back to last year as well.
I would say I had a layup. It was go coast to coast, and I was just feeling good. And I ended up finishing with my right hand, just kind of up and under layup. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you actually did that twice. I have both of those in my top three from that Florida National game. And what's crazy, these 6'2" forwards at the mid-major level, a lot of people don't really expect the bigs to be bringing it down the court, but you looked like a point guard bringing it down. The handles were great, ended up crossing over some defenders and drove the entire court for number one that I have on here through a double team for a really athletic layup. I believe that's one you're talking about because you went like up and under, finished with your right hand, like you said, for a 68-13 lead there. And then later on in the game, cashed in from beyond the arc, showed your range to stretch the lead to 88 over Florida National, where your teammates had some ball movement, kicked it right out to you at the top of the key, and boom, long range three for you there. And then once again, about probably a minute later, you drove down the court once again for another full court layup into another double team because they just could not guard you at all for a 90-point lead there. So you were able to score at will, obviously, against that opponent. And then you did that a lot a year ago as well, averaged double figures, I believe, led the Panthers in scoring during the 23-24 season, where you were sixth player of the year, first team all conference. What were some parts of your game going into this season that you had really taken some pride in improving on that you were looking to showcase? And also, how would you say that you helped some of the other players, some of the other bigs, like I might butcher her name here, Isnel Natabu, as well as some of the other bigs for FIU, where you helped them improve on that as well throughout the season?
Man, I would just say grit. That's not necessarily a skill, but I think that's just something that's inside of you. I would say grit because I just talked a lot with my coaches at the time. I want to be able to finish more at the basket and be aggressive on my drives, single straight line drives. So I feel like just coming in there with that grit mindset of like, you know what, anybody in front of me is just gonna have to get ran over, honestly. So just having the bigs come in and just seeing like, okay, like whoever's in front of us is gonna have to get ran over. So just bringing that grit mentality to the program was just contagious for everyone.
That is the mentality that I have, sounding like a version of Shaquille O'Neal bodying people. And obviously he was 7 foot dunking on everyone, but I'm sure if you
Yeah.
could, you definitely would be dunking on people as well. So FIU, unfortunately, this past season, 11-19 overall record, 7-11 in Conference USA action. Like you mentioned, there were a lot of pieces that were gone from a year ago. You obviously being looked at as the main returner, that injury cutting your season short. Obviously, there were a lot of hiccups throughout the year. But obviously, you guys had that big time win to start off the season, had an 80-79 win over Western Kentucky, as well as some other tough Conference USA opponents. But now, not only are you obviously, you entered the portal now heading to Miami, but you also had some other players that I believe entered the portal and are graduating, obviously, as well this year. What are your expectations for FIU moving forward? Obviously, you're not going to be with the program, so it doesn't really apply to you a whole lot. But with their culture trying to bounce back with all of these changes, how are you looking at their future going into next season?
Well, Coach Berg's establishing her program. She's a coach that just honestly wants to get better. She's a coach that regardless of the schedule, they're looking to win. She wants to build a winning culture. So honestly, I'm thinking that they're gonna have a great season and win. Obviously they have a lot of recruiting to do, but as long as they get those right pieces, the future is bright for them. And I know that, and I know I've been a part of practice for them, so I know that practice is a time where it's very what's the word? It's very focused. So in practice, that everybody's just process driven and goal oriented in practice. So I believe that, even with my teammates from last year, them coming in and having that 1 year, Paris, having that 1 year, okay, like I know what Coach Burks expects of us now, even though Maya has left, even though Tay has left, I understand what Coach Burks expects of us so that she can be a leader and Claudia can be a leader and the rest of the girls that are returning.
There you go. Definitely can't wait to see what's in store for the Panthers next year. But obviously, you are going to the ACC to join the Hurricanes, compete with the best of the best in the country for a Miami program that has had a lot of success in their history. They've had a lot of very talented players in their program. And I know you're one of multiple transfers coming in. I actually got the chance to teammates Victoria Blasic. Hopefully, I didn't butcher her name there because it's always hard pronouncing the foreign players' names, but hopefully I pronounced it right. But what was it about Miami that really stuck out to you? Obviously, you already are part of the city. You know, you were in the southern part of Florida, South Beach, for playing for FIU. What made you want to stay in the city but change color jerseys?
Honestly, it's the coaches. You know, the coaches just me and Coach Club the first time, and the rest of the assistant coaches. Honestly, it just felt like this is a place where I can build off of my game. I can get stronger, and this is a place where I can win. I also have pros. I also want to play pros, so this is a place where I can grow. On and off the court, and not only just basketball, but I'm a part of a church now called Vue Church in Miami. So just honestly, me being able to stay close knit in Miami in my family, but mainly be a part of a church in my faith, which is really important to me, and being able to serve in the city of Miami. So that was a very big aspect for me as far as staying in Miami. And the coaches made it feel like home on my visit. And that's definitely a place where I've already played in high school in orange and green. So just being in orange and green again, it just feels like home for me.
Hey, there you go. Nice that you get to still be around the people that, obviously you care about your family, still be a part of that church. That's incredible for you. And I know you're looking to bounce back from this injury, the best version of yourself yet. Where are you at in the recovery process? How much more time do you have to where you can go back to practice 100% for the Hurricanes and, really be back to the best version of yourself yet?
I would say I'm 100%. I'm just in the gym working every day, working on my weaknesses, getting stronger. But yeah, I would say I'm 100% ready to go.
There you go. Can't wait to see what you do because obviously, after that 1 year with FIU, people began to learn your name and understand your game. And obviously, you didn't get a chance to really showcase it this season, but I saw the numbers from that one game. I saw your accolades, and I knew I had to have you on the podcast because I'm trying to grow the women's basketball side of my podcast and having players like yourself and Victoria on absolutely incredible to be able to interview you and get to know you as human beings, not just as athletes. And that's also why I have this upcoming segment that I like to call Who's Up Next, where you can actually give me some more names that I can reach out to, have on the podcast, and get their names out there as well, get their stories told, because they obviously deserve to have their stories told as well. So there are two rules, though. First of which, whoever you recommend, got to help me get them on, got to help me reach out. And number two, you got to give me at least one name where they were not a teammate of yours this past season.
Okay. Well, I have Jalea Williams. She recently graduated from Louisville, and she's gonna end up playing pro. So that's a if you're interested in interviewing anybody that's gonna play pro. Um, dang. I need another one. Ooh. Um.
And you can give me multiple other ones also from FIU if that helps you as well. I know this segment usually gets people thinking.
Uh. Maybe you can hit up Jay Brew. I don't know if you already tried interviewing him before. Jay Brew on the men's team. Last name Brewer.
Okay, I gotta take a look. I gotta take a look. I knew Okiki. Oh, I can never pronounce his name right.
Yeah.
Super athlete that got
Yeah.
hurt this year, but I remember
Yeah.
him during his JUCO days. But I do need to take a better look at the men's team. But I will definitely take a look at his name.
Yes, that's his Instagram name. So I don't know if that's his actual last name. It could be Brewer, but that's his Instagram name. Hit him up for sure.
All right, there we go. I will definitely keep those names in mind and I will be reaching out to them, having them on so they can tell their story just like you get to tell yours. Uh, that was great names for who's up next. And I am always looking to interview pros. So that is awesome that you gave me that. Most people do not give pro names. But now that we've talked about who's up next, got to talk about what's next for yourself. Obviously, you said you're at 100%. You're ready to go. You're ready to play with the best of the best in the ACC for Miami next season. What parts of your game are you really looking to improve on this offseason to go into next year and be looked at as a WNBA draft prospect?
everything. I feel like, because I'm a player that's very versatile, um, I can work on everything. So as far as my shot becoming more efficient, being more aggressive in straight line drives, averaging more rebounds, um, things of that nature, my ball handling in transition, fixing up my ball handling. So honestly, I'm in the gym just polishing up everything a part of my game so that I can, like you said, be a part of that draft pick.
Hey, there's no doubt in my mind. One day I'm gonna be having a jersey with your name on it, got a nice little autograph on it, hopefully, of a WNBA jersey, because I think you're
Amen.
definitely going pro. You've showcased your skills so far in this career, have a lot of accolades to your name already, and you're gonna be first team All ACC in 25-26 season. I'm calling it right now, and my predictions have been known to come true on this podcast. So
Amen. I
hopefully it doesn't
receive
break
it.
my streak, but.
I receive it. Amen. I receive it.
Hey, absolutely. Definitely can't wait to see what you do for the Hurricanes next year. Super excited for you, super happy for you that you get to continue your journey in basketball and also be a part of, that church, continue your faith journey as well. So thank you so much for being a part of this podcast, being a part of this interview and taking time out of your day. It really does mean a lot to have great athletes and people like yourself on this podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Seriously, just expanding the women's side of basketball. So it's a pleasure and honor to be here. So thank you.